Alexander Volkanovski's ego, his mentality, this idea of always standing up for himself is exactly what is going to completely ruin his legacy and lead to the destruction of his career. And I'm just going to say this. Volkanovski, okay, 35-year-old Alexander Volkanovski is stepping in on short notice for what? Some fucking brownie points and a pat on the back? That's what this man's doing. He's a goddamn fool for fighting Islam Makhachev on 11 days' notice. And aside from all the respect to Volkanovski, oh, what a BMF, aside from all of that, because it is badass to be able to do this, he's an idiot. He is too old to be doing something like this. He's a 35-year-old long-reigning champion that is gunning for GOAT status someday. You can't be taking on a fucking 11 days notice fight against Islam Makhachev in which you're probably going to lose, because guess what? You're never going to get the opportunity again. And imagine if he gets KO'd. 35-year-old Alexander Volkanovski coming off of a KO loss. Now he's got to cut to featherweight to fight Ilia Topuria, who has what? An added 3 months onto his training camp that he already would have had. Now Ilia has more time. Ilia is going to get more experience in the gym. What a fucking terrible decision. He's going to lose to Makhachev. He's probably going to get TKO'd. And if that happens, as I said, 35 years old, he's out here doing fucking side quests like it don't matter. You know, people were relating this to Anderson Silva stepping in on short notice for John Jones when Jones pulled out, when he popped, and DC needed an opponent. But Anderson Silva's 38. He was already on a loss streak. Volkanovski is a long-reigning champion. You can't be fucking around and doing this. It's not like you're, a young Max Holloway filling in for Tony Ferguson when Tony pulls out and Khabib needs a new opponent. And Max is, a young 28-year-old guy that can lose this fight, lose that fight, and still bounce back as a champ. It is so unbelievably nearsighted to do this. Think about your career. Volkanovski has to have someone that can pull him aside and say, hey, man, hey, you're getting up there. You're getting up there in age. And you're also getting up there in the GOAT conversation. Think about your legacy. Think about life after fighting, where you can leverage being like the greatest fighter to ever do it. Can you really just treat this as a disposable fight where whatever happens, happens? No, dude. If you lose this, you're going to be 35 taking a loss. And that could be by KO. Don't you think you need to give this guy a little bit more respect and time in a training camp? His ego is getting in the way of his career. He's making a horrible, rash decision to take this fight for a fucking pat on the back, to let everyone know how tough he is and how he's doing. You know what it is? He's showing us that he's just going to do something that Makhachev would never do. Khabib, them guys, they never do this. This is what Volkanovski's going to be saying in the press conference. I'm doing something you never do. I'm doing something you and Khabib and all those guys. I'm challenging myself. I'm standing up for myself. Yeah, you're standing up for yourself and you're going to get knocked the fuck out for doing it. You're going to ruin your legacy at 35 years old where you can't afford to just do a fucking side quest, get KO'd, and then, oh, it's all good. I'm still a young gun. I could still drop down and have my chin. No. You're going to go on a tough weight cut after it. You're going to fight Ilia Topuria after coming off of the first KO loss of your career. And if you lose that, well, congratulations. You've lost 3 out of your last 4. We're booting them out of the top 5. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. Volkanovski is literally doing this to get a fucking pat on the back and a hip, hip hooray. And these fans, these Volkanovski fans, are honestly out here saying things like, he's going to kick his ass anyway. Like, I get it, dude. The fight was extremely close. I was one of those people that actually said, you know what? Maybe he was robbed when the fight first took place. But he didn't win. And he had all the circumstances. He had all the stars aligning for him to get the dub. In Australia, Australian Commission, perfect weight cut. Makhachev doesn't have as much time to recover. The buildup, you have 7 months to prepare for a lightweight. And you know what even pisses me off more are the fans that are basically saying things in the media like, brother, give Makhachev his respect. Hey, everyone's saying respect to Volk. Everyone's saying respect to Volk. How about some respect for Makhachev, man? Makhachev's taking this fight too. I mean, it's a big risk. Fuck you! All right? It's not a big risk. He's literally taking on a much easier opponent. Charles Oliveira has the ability to finish this guy in fucking 2 seconds. Volkanovski's little pillow punches ain't gonna put him away. All right? Like, listen. Volkanovski doesn't have pillow punches. I'm just joking around now. I'm having fun now. But listen, guys. This is the dude. Makhachev's ready to go. He's had 3 months to train for a lightweight fight. As I said, everything's firing on all cylinders for him. He's training for someone that has knockout power, that's insanely good on the ground. The only difference between Charles and Volkanovski is that Volkanovski's shorter. He's a little more awkward to fight. But, you know, as far as the danger aspect that they bring, Charles is winning that battle all day. This is an easy fight. You're taking out a guy coming off of the fucking couch, for goodness sakes. Yes. Like, yeah, sure, respect to Makhachev for at least accepting the fight in which, you know, everything's on perfect circumstances. He has an easier opponent now. Yeah, respect to Makhachev, dude. Stop. Cut the bullshit, man. Cut the fucking crap. Cut the crap, dude. Like, this guy has everything going for him in this fight. All right? So, yes, if he does beat Alexander Volkanovski, you can make excuses for it. That's why this pisses me off so much, because there are plenty of excuses to be made. And this is not the kind of fight. The stakes are too high to have something with this much magnitude take place in these, you know, fuck it conditions. Oh, fuck it, just make it happen. Who cares? Yeah, just shit all over it. Shit all over the fight. Who give a fuck? Screw that, okay? He is a featherweight that's going to be undersized, that's going to be taking a training camp without a whole strength and conditioning program. And Volkanovski, just like any of the other top 5 GOATs, these are all guys that need a whole training camp to prepare specifics. This is what makes Volkanovski so good, is when he actually has the time to prepare for an opponent with specifics training. Bringing in Craig Jones for 12 weeks, you know, bringing in an 11-time Taekwondo champion to get ready for Yair Rodriguez. If Volkanovski doesn't train with that guy for 10 weeks leading up to the Yair fight, he's probably not going to defend himself as well. And this is the same thing. I understand Volkanovski had a training camp, like 6 months ago? That ain't going to make up for it. He's fucked. He is fucked, man. And his body's going to be all flabby. He's coming off of the couch. No strength and conditioning program. Again, for what? It's the ego of Alexander Volkanovski that is fucking him in the first place. This whole stand up for yourself, that short man's tip. Oh my gosh, man. John Jones would never do some shit like this. And yes, you can say, well, John Jones don't have the balls. Great. Volkanovski's got the fucking balls to do it. You know, this is what separates Volkanovski from a lot of other people to begin with. If Volk didn't have this mentality, he wouldn't be in this position. But it's a double-edged sword. I've been saying this. This is the thing that's going to lead to the end. And it also makes me question, is Volkanovski really one of these stand-up, no excuse-making type of guys, no bullshit type of guys? Because we clearly know if he loses this fight, that's going to be the narrative that his team runs with. Even if he makes it close, it's going to piss me off even more. Because I would say to myself, imagine if he had a full training camp. And guess what? He ain't getting the opportunity again. Volk isn't 33. He's not 32 years old. You know what I mean? He loses this fight. He's got to fight Ilia Topuria. What are they going to do? He beats Ilia Topuria. Now you're up and fighting Makhachev. That would have been the situation if he didn't fill in for this fight. He would have fought Topuria. If he would have won that, he then would have had to get a 3-4 month full training camp to prepare for the lightweight champion. In his final hoorah, a fully locked and ready to go Alexander Volkanovski coming off of 2 wins. Instead, he's going to lose to Islam Makhachev. At the age of 35, he's going to fight Ilia Topuria. He'll probably win that fight. And then you think he's going to be out here campaigning for a Makhachev fight after we just saw him lose twice in the same fucking year? It's done. It's this nearsighted mentality. Every single champion has an ego. Ego is a good thing in life. If you don't have any ego, all right, you're not going to do shit with your life. You're not going to be out here competing with anyone on this planet. You need an ego to drive you. It's good that he has it, but it's just a little bit over the top with this guy. Okay? Like, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's commendable, but like, as I said, it's not going to be so cool when he gets knocked the fuck out. You know, and this is something that is going to boost his stock in the now. But what's going to happen a couple years from now when we're looking at Volkanovski's record and it says lost to Islam Makhachev, beats Yair Rodriguez, KO'd by Makhachev, KO'd by Topuria, KO'd by Topuria in the rematch. It's like, it's going to go downhill. He's going to ruin his legacy, man. He's not ready for the fight. 11 days notice. He's going to be fat coming off of the couch, not in shape. Not a full training camp, no specifics training. Makhachev is going to have, you know, the perfect amount of time to recover from the weight cut. He's going to have like an extra 10 hours than compared to what he did last time. Dude, Volkanovski lost to Makhachev with a full training camp in his backyard. And before that full training camp, he had another training camp getting ready to be the backup. He had like 7 months to prepare for a lightweight fight. He's fucked. He could have went out there, beat Yair Rodriguez. He could have went out there and taken out Ilia Topuria, and then he could have been maybe number 3, number 2 all time. You know what I mean? I would have said, all right, he beat Ilia Topuria, get GSP out of there, get Mighty Mouse out of there. But now he's going to fight Makhachev. He's going to have 2 losses on his record, and Volkanovski is not a guy that can afford to have all these losses, because what puts Volkanovski high up on the GOAT list, unlike a lot of these other guys, is the quality of his wins. He doesn't have the same quantity as Anderson Silva. He doesn't have the same quantity as GSP, but it's the quality of the wins. It's the strength of schedule. And I get it. Yes, you can make excuses for him losing to Makhachev, but he'll never get that one back. Okay, that's the point that I'm trying to make. He's never going to get this opportunity again if he loses this fight, because he's 35. And he can only keep this peak, whatever you want to call it, he can only keep it going for so long. If he wins this fight, I'm going to do like a 24-hour Volk stream. I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to go crazy, because I am one of the biggest Alexander Volkanovski fans out there. But he's not going to win, and he isn't going to finish Islam Makhachev. This is the thing about Makhachev that makes this matchup so tough. In order to commit to hitting to Makhachev, you have to put yourself on the firing line. Islam Makhachev is one of the hardest men to hit in the UFC. So when you do actually go after him, you need to commit. You know what I mean? You can't be hesitant. If you're hesitant, you can make a mistake and he can catch you. If you fully commit to a punch, if you fully commit to an attack on this guy, that's where he can level change. That's where he can crack you with his piston-like of a left hand. And Makhachev is such a dangerous counter-striker because of it. Because he knows that a fighter like Alexander Volkanovski's only chance is to outstrike him in this matchup. And he knows that Volkanovski's got to be the one to come forward. Because number 1, I'm holding the belt. He's got to try to take the belt from me. And number 2, I could level change whenever I want. Volkanovski has to try to outstrike me. All right, I'll just stay on the back foot and wait for him to commit, and I'm going to tag him with a left hand. Volkanovski was getting cracked in the last fight. He's now going to be getting cracked without a full training camp. His gas tank isn't going to be as good as it was last time. And Makhachev's going to be fully prepared. And this is the difference between Volk and Charles. Charles has the ability to go out there and put Makhachev's lights out in the first round, in the second round. He has the ability to submit Islam Makhachev. Volk, yes, there's a chance he could TKO Makhachev, but it's so unlikely. And he's unprepared. And his chances of winning are most likely going to be by decision. Is he going to be able to win 3 out of 5 rounds without a training camp? Probably not, man. So yeah, this fight isn't interesting to me. It actually sucks. I'm going to be honest. It's not a great fight, and I'm not looking forward to it. I'm dreading it because he's going to lose, and he's going to ruin his legacy, and it's going to be devastating for his career.
What's up? It's Lucas Tracy MMA here. Are you currently competing in a sport? And if you are, what's your nutrition like? Most athletes neglect nutrition. They think it's all about burning calories. Well, if you're really trying to perform at your best, if you want to feel as good as possible, you want to be firing on all cylinders, you have to worry about your diet. And most people make the mistake of eating conventional healthy foods that honestly just provide empty calories. And you can't be eating empty calories as an athlete. You need to have big, hearty meals that are gonna fill you up. How can you do that? Well, I have a cookbook for you called the Real Food Cookbook. And the whole purpose of me creating this cookbook is to make sure that you can make big, hearty meals made with whole and unprocessed ingredients. So if you guys are interested in getting a real cookbook, make sure to click the link in my description. And for a discount, make sure to use code MMA for 30% off. Until next time.